Hello, welcome everyone. We are going to jump into building some Power BI reports live with you here, and we're going to let you see how we build reports inside the world's best wireframing tool that you're going to find out there on the internet for Power BI. Let's jump right in. Turn on my desktop here. You'll see my desktop screen appear. And we will visit the theme generator. If you have used this before in the past, it's from the Power BI tips group. So go to Themes.PowerBI.tips. You'll find it right here in the upper URL. Themes.PowerBI.tips. When you navigate to the theme generator page, you'll see a navigation bar across the top of the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll see this new button called Wireframes. This is the area where we are able to present and help you build a report, basically build the entire report with ideas, concepts, designs, colors, palettes. We'll help you build everything you need right here. So clicking on Wireframes will take you into this new part of the tool. And what you'll see initially presented for you is all the page stuff here. So let's build our report. Let's stub out the pages in our report. Now, I've already done some work on the background images or the images that I'm going to use to develop my report. You may have seen this report before in around the internet as well. This is actually a report that Microsoft picked up very early when they were doing building their own reports or doing demos around Power BI. So first thing I'm going to do is these are SVG images. So these are an SVG image that is made by a design program. Could be like Adobe or something from Figma, or this could be even made in PowerPoint for that matter. But the idea is the output of this is an image or an SVG item. So if you click on the image, I'm going to upload this image. I'll hit open here. And you'll notice that this image is immediately added to my report page. So this is page 1 of my report. The image is then automatically added to that. And what I can do is I can actually add Power BI visuals directly to this page. I'm going to click on the little icon here for page visuals, and you'll see that the page gets larger. Now, you'll notice here is I've actually, in my image building, I've actually built the image, but I've also provided a whole bunch of boundaries on my image. So I did a little extra work when I made my background images, describing how many pixels was I away from each edge. And the advantage of using our tool here is we give you precise control of how you want to handle or manipulate visuals on the page here. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to add some cards here on the new card visual. I'm going to add this new card visual onto my report canvas. You can drag it around wherever you want. And you'll also notice here I have the width and height dimensions that I can automatically adjust. So by clicking on the visual, highlighting it, I'll go over here to the width and height, and we'll immediately add 190 for the width. The height of it will be, actually, we're going to do the full height here. So it'll be like the height will be 600. So now I have a multiple card visual. So if I add 4 KPIs to it, it would space all those KPIs out. And then also I can move the X and Y position direction as well. So 60, 60, and boom, the visual is immediately placed where it needs to be on the report canvas. Now I do want those colors to bleed through and actually have colors coming through that card. So over here on the right-hand side, we can actually turn the background off of that object. And doing that will then remove the background from the visual. The visual is still there. The boundary is still there. And as I add data to it later on, when I export this in my Power BI desktop file, I'll be able to build that as I want. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the report canvas here, and then I want to add another visual as well. So I'll click a bar chart. I'll add that here. And now I can start stubbing out. You'll also notice here in the report, if I move this close to where I want it to be, the highlighting of snapping illuminates. And so I can see where things are as well. Now looking across my report page, I know the edge of this visual should start around 290. So I'm going to start my X direction at 290, and the height is already at 60, the correct height. And so now I can easily drag and drop this image directly on the report canvas. And I can move it where I want, size it appropriately for the report page, and then I can add other visuals as I want. So I'm going to bring this visual down. I'm going to make it really large here, snap it to the full width. Let's shrink it up just a bit. And maybe I want a second visual or another chart on here as well. I can go click back onto the scatter plot, build that out as well. And an advantage of our tool here as well is we have the ability for you to nudge visuals. You can edge them over a little bit. So if I hold the shift key and use my arrow keys, you'll see that I'm jumping 10 pixels at a time for how I'm moving this visual around the page. So I can actually just dial this in. 790 is where I want the end of this to be, because I'm taking out the 1220 minus this other information here. So 1220 minus 290 would give me around 790, around what I need there for the X position. Then I can just drag the visual larger until it gets to my height. And then I can move it back here a little bit. And then I can, again, cinch this up a little bit here on the report, and it will stretch right there to the visuals. And there we go. We've got 2 visuals on the report page. I can even move them around, or bring them inside a little bit if I need to. I can build that visual wherever I want it to go. Once I have my landscape on my report page here, we're pretty happy with this. I'll click on the icon to zoom out of this. And so now I have the template page basically built. So I built one page of the report, and I may want to rename this one. So I'll just click here on the name and just call this my template. This gives me the layout of where the visuals are on the page and how we build that together. Once we have that done, we probably want to add more pages and other images, because we're going to change the background slightly, but then modify it for the different visuals. So now what I can do is I can click the duplicate button on this particular one. It'll copy everything or all the objects over to a new page exactly as I have them built. With this page now highlighted, I can make this my overview page. And then now we'll be able to upload a different image. So this time I'm going to upload the same image without the numbers on it. So I'm going to go over here to upload again, go back to my desktop, and instead of picking my main object with all the dimensions, I'll now pick my second object here for just the image and its various visuals. Grab that, hit OK, and now I've removed all the numbers, and now I have an overview page. I'm going to be a little bit picky here. I'm going to go back to this template page, and I'm going to hide it because I don't really want to see the template. Now that I have the overview page, we'll go back over here and we'll duplicate that again. And now I'm going to add different color accents. So as I think about the different pages, I want the yellow button, the red, purple, and pink buttons to kind of illuminate themselves. So now I can just go through and quickly replace all the backgrounds while having all the visuals pre-built and formulated on the report pages. So on overview, this will be my red page. And now what I'll do is I'll go back in here, and we can then, again, adjust the image here. And we're going to go grab the icon that has the element here that is the top. Actually, this would be probably my yellow page because I have the yellow icon first. So we'll grab that one next. We'll load that, and we'll see we have a darker color for the yellow because this is going to be focusing on that kind of content. Let's rename this to yellow so it matches. And then we will just keep duplicating. So yellow page, we'll now edit this one. This will be our next color in the list, which will be our orange or reddish color looking thing. We'll do that one next. We'll name this one. Oops. You can also rename it here as well. That red. Go back to our main page here again. We'll add another page. We'll duplicate this yet again. We'll again change our background color. Load again. We're going to do our third color in the list here. We'll open that one up. And then we'll rename this one again. So let's rename correctly. This is going to be our pink page. And then finally, we'll do one last duplication here for our final page of the report. Go back in here again, upload the image. We'll grab our purple color at the very bottom of the list. And now I have my bottom item. So now I have a 5-page report. I'm able to highlight each of the different backgrounds based on what kind of information is being presented there. And I can stylize all of this together here in one report page. You can see how my visuals are still here on the report page as well. Let's also grab here and let's make this one our purple page. Now, we just built the report, so this is the report objects, but we maybe want to do additional things here. Maybe I want to have a second or another page here that describes release notes or other information as well. So I'm going to add another page here at the very end. We're going to change this to a portrait mode so I can see it landscaped here as well. We're going to hide this page because this is our release notes. So we're just going to call this release notes. For our report, we are going to fit to width. We're going to actually change how the report page is being formatted. And we will hide this page because we don't really want people to use this in the report. This is here for our reference as we build reports and make changes. We may want to note our changes down on a separate page. We could also go into this page as well. If I click on the visual element here as well, you do have the ability of adding other tools in here as well. We're going to be adding more in here as we go. You'll be able to add your own text box and buttons as well. We're still enhancing that as well. So you'll be able to add your own text box here for what people need to use on the page as well. Going back to our main page, we now have a report completed. We now need to stylize the colors. So if I go into the palette page, this is where we can build the color palettes of everything. So now we're merging the idea of building the report and also working with your theme files. So over here, I have a theme file that I'm going to go grab these colors from. So I'm going to go grab these existing colors from somewhere else, copy those colors. I can go over here down to the multiple input area, just drop those colors in, hit add, and it immediately adds all those colors to my color palette. So I can maneuver or move around in these colors I want here. I can also go over to my color wheel if I want. I can also adjust or find additional colors that I may think would be complementary or would work well with this color palette as well. So maybe I want some blues in there or something like that. I could then pick colors and kind of work around this wheel here. And if I can find any other colors that I'd like to add here as well, I can do that. I could also go over to this gradient level here, and I could actually use this and just kind of pick some random colors if I want here, if I wanted to add other different colors. Again, the idea is here giving you a lot of flexibility to quickly add a bunch of different colors wherever you need them inside your report. So we'll add a couple little browns here as well, just in case you want those at the end. So now I have a more rich color palette. You can also go through and set all your standard colors for the report. You could do status colors, your gradients. You could either add any kind of text formatting, so all of your common elements across the report. We'll even render some sample visuals. So if you want to adjust some things, so for example, if you want your title to have a certain color or a certain font face, you can do that here at the global level, and this will set all of your text across all of the report. Finally, you can add icons if you want. So if you wanted to add additional icons into your report, you could do this as well. You can even add or adjust the colors of them additionally. So you can say this would be my red circle, red person circle. Adding that in, this will add it directly to the theme file, and that will be part of your report when you download it. Finally, if you want to go full crazy on everything, you want to design all the properties, you can go in one visual at a time, and you can actually stylize the individual properties of the visual itself. For example, one that I like to use a lot of is changing the title properties. So I may want to have the title alignment be the center, and I may want the size to be a certain size of that title. So let's go up to like 20 size. Maybe that's what I want for all the titles in my report. So knowing that I want to change the alignment in the center, but I want to do this for all visuals, I won't do it here. Instead, what I'll do is I'll go to this little star option for global properties. We'll go down to the title option. These are in alphabetical order. We'll go down here to title, like this. We will set the alignment to the center, and we will change the font size up to 20 like we did previously. And this will now render a visual with the title on it, and all visuals will have a title that is centered that is 20 size. Finally, we'll go back over to our wireframe. So all those properties, in addition to the layout of the pages here, have now been saved together. And so now we will call this our sunset report, because it's kind of that sunset feel. And I'll save it to my library here. So I'll be able to save this one. If you are a Tips Plus subscriber, you're able to save this and recall it and come back to this later. You have two options to download. I can download the full project, meaning the pages, the images, everything as a full Power BI project, or I could just download the theme file, which is the second icon next to the left here. Clicking download will download the entire project. It'll build the report, make the pages, add the theme file and all the properties, and bring them directly over to me. I can extract this over here on my desktop. Once I extract the report, we'll have a report folder structure here. And you'll notice we have this thing called the sunset report, named the way we had in the project. And we have a PBIP file that's also showing up here as well. So this means the report has been built. We're all done. Now this is a preview setting that is turned on inside Power BI Desktop. So in order to use this PBIP formatting, you have to turn that on inside Power BI Desktop. But once you have turned it on, we open the report, just like by clicking on the report. Power BI Desktop will spin up, and it will immediately build, have all the pages aligned the way we want. The names are already applied, and any of the formatting or theming options will automatically be there as well. And so we're basically done. We've wireframed the entire report. We built the visuals, we placed them on our report pages, and we have everything ready to go. So this is my overview template page, and we can see all the other pages here have the visuals already pre-built on them. And again, this is desktop. You can move the visuals around wherever you want. It's not a big deal. You can continue to tweak them and adjust them for whatever your needs are. The next thing we need to do is, now that we're done with the report build, this has all been wireframing. All of this has been done with no data model, no DAX, just thinking about the design of our report. We now have the ability to go back in here and actually open up our report and go connect to actual data. So I'm going to go into my OneLake Data Hub. I'm going to go find some reporting details here. See if we can go find sign into the right tenant. I would assume it'd probably be better there. So let's go sign into our location. Once we sign in, we'll be able to have access to all of our data sets inside PowerBI.com. Signing in brings me to my tenant. I can then go grab my one lake data elements, and there we go. We have all of our data sets here. So I will bring in this cool blue reporting. This will now load up all of my data sets here, and I have a nice data set, and now I can just start dragging and dropping different elements here, and dropping them on our page. So I can go drag them directly to visuals, and our different visual options will be appearing here in our report. We can also stylize the options here by clicking on the visuals, and we can adjust any other style or properties as well in here as well. So let's go in here to expand all categories. We're going to go into this fancy card thing, and we're going to turn off anything that's colored in backgrounds. So we'll turn off the fill, turn that off. And then I can add additional calculations here as well. So if I go back to my building the visual page, we can now grab any other IDs in here. And as I build out these things, I can then continue to stylize those visuals on top of things. Let's grab our countries to this visual, and we'll add a freight value to this. So there's our bar chart. We already have our title centered and aligned in the middle there. And then we can also do other visuals here as well if we want to add other details to our reports. So we can do ship country and order it by, I'm trying to think of another good dimensional element here. We don't really have a whole lot of numbers here. Maybe we can do quantity, something like that. So now we can get visuals built here immediately. And that's it. You're now in and building reports. You now can continue to tweak these visuals. It's just like desktop. You can then adjust them however you need. Desktop will now allow you to adjust and modify these visuals as much as you want. So you can then really stylize your report and get it exactly what you want here. This left-hand nav here for this visual is really bothering me. I'm going to change the properties of this visual to be, instead of horizontal, I want it to be more of a rounded rectangle. And I want the cards to lay out a different way. So there should be an option here to make this horizontal or vertical. So I'm looking for, there it is, vertical alignment. Instead of horizontal, I'll go vertical. That way, as I add other data fields to this property, we'll just add a couple other data fields in here real quick. And you'll see that now each of the cards are matching exactly as that is laid out there. And again, you can adjust all these style options inside desktop after you built the report, or if not, you can build it inside your theme generator. With that, we're done. This is kind of an easy way to build your templates and reports. You can use this tool today. It's already available to you right now. We're going to give you a quick build and prototype of how we would build things inside the sunset report. So I will upload this PBIP project file to a GitHub page, which will be in the description of the video, in case you want to go get this report and play with it for yourself. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time.